Okay, right then. This is the follow-up video to how to solve a problem. We'll do this using JOSM. So JOSM, Java OpenStreetMap Editor. We will download JOSM, and this will be the web start version. We'll keep that, show it in this folder, and we will move it onto the desktop because it's a useful thing to have. Apart from the fact that my desktop looks to be cluttered with a whole heap of stuff. So where is the JOSM icon? Doobie 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 doo. Okay. Well, in that case, it does not appear to be here. Let's go down to downloads. Oh, it hadn't taken it over. That explains it. Let's just drag it and drop it here. Okay, right, so we should now have a JOSM icon. There we are. Double click it. It starts off as a Java application and it will fire up over time. There we are, excellent. Fabulous. And I hope you remember this from when we did this at your place. You start off at 0, 0 lat long, so you're in the middle of nowhere. First of all, let's download some plugins. Just go through these one by one. Let's get in continuous download. It's potentially useful, or it's also potentially dangerous. Let's get an edit GPX. ArcGIS tools. Let's have open data. That's actually the one we really do need. And I think that is actually probably about it. Well, that looks like it would be quite useful, particularly for field boundaries. And JOSM is probably going to be the environment to integrate the field boundaries if we ever come to it. Okay. All utilities. Always nice to have some utilities. Okay, right, let's download those. And then click on OK. Brilliant. And so now we restart. How exciting. Okay, right, there we are. So, if you remember, we get, let's ignore that, get Bing up first, start at 0, 0, zoom all the way out. Now we're over in the UK, let's maximize this, get some more imagery, and let's bring in OSM. Okay, we don't want to go to Birmingham. It's a perennial complaint. Close to Banbury. We cancel that at the minute. cancel that again, because that's the issue with having continuous download. So continuous download is doing what it says on the tin and continuously downloading. And for where we are now, that's actually fine. So it's downloaded what we want, and here, for example, is an SHLAA location TYS 106D. Brilliant. Okay, so what we want to do is shut down my laptop, which is running out of battery, is to save that layer. And we're going to save that layer as a GeoJSON file, and we will put it into, where are we going to put it? Dropbox is probably the right place to put it in a minute. Oh yeah, you can tell I don't use Windows very much. Okay, so let's put it into other stuff, and this is Tysoe JSON. Okay, so that's been saved. Brilliant. We can now essentially drop out of Java OpenStreetMap. We've done everything we want that to do. Okay, so we're now going into Quantum GIS. Okay, brilliant. And we will open up a project, which will be Dropbox, Tysoe digitizing ARB. And the nice thing about this is it's cross-platform. I use this project in Linux as well as Windows. Essentially it works because everything is relative, so it doesn't need to save it as storing things in either Windows or Linux or Unix folders. Everything is based on an upper root and then in subfolders, so that works quite nicely. Anyway, you'll notice if I zoom in that I have extended the digitizing in this area to include the extra bits that you've added in from your your SHLAA designation. So anyway, we've got our data. What we'll do is we'll now add in a vector layer. We'll browse, and we'll go to Dropbox, and essentially what we're going to add in is not a GPX6, but a GeoJSON. Okay, one of the things we didn't actually do was, let's go to Dropbox, go to Tysoe, let's go to other stuff. Okay, rather than just calling it JSON, it should have been GeoJSON. Okay, because now it can be found. Okay, so if we open that up, notice we've only got two types of geometry. We've got a point and a line string. We don't want the points, we know that. So we just bring in the line string. So if we get rid of the field boundaries, you can see that we've got all of this stuff going on in the background. And that's straight from OpenStreetMap. Brilliant. Now, what we actually need to do is to resolve the clutter problem associated with that, because we only actually want a very small amount of it. So if we go into the properties, alright, it won't let us do it. Yeah, we have properties. What we want to do is feature subset. Bring up a query builder. Here's a list of all of the different tags associated with that GeoJSON file. And essentially we want to find the one that says area. Here we are. And we bring in all of the different variables. And we want it where area equals yes. Let's test it. Turns an amazing 7 results. And then we click on OK. And we apply that. OK. Ta-da! So we now have a list of all of the stuff that you digitized or checked off as areas, which all have SHLAAs about them, and these are as line strings. So what we then want to do next is select these, nice and easy, and then we right click on here and go save selection as, and as a shapefile. I've done that already, I've done this already here, but I'll do it again. So it's in the same directory as a GeoJSON. We'll replace it. We want the coordinate reference system to be the project, okay, not the layer, because it's based upon OpenStreetMap, which uses a variation of WGS84, which is a global lat long. We want it in a UK 27700 EPSG. So let's put it to the project CRS, which is in that. Let's then add that save file to map. Click on OK. Ba-ding. Saving has been done, so we can now get rid of that and remove it. Okay, so here we have our polyline. Now what we want to do is, again, we can go back and we can select all of these. Right click, go into vector, get into data management, no, geometry tools, sorry, and then lines to polygons. And that asks us immediately to save this as a shapefile. So we go back to come on, Dropbox and Tysoe and other stuff. And now we do that one as a polygon. Yep. Add results to the canvas. Ta-da! Okay, so we now have these in as polygons, which is what you want. But we can then go through, change the styling on these. Let's have this as a outline with a simple line. Apply, so it looks just like a polyline, but we can also add in labels. The question is, what label do we want to add in? So let's just initially apply this. Have a quick click in here, find out what it is. Alright, so it has a thing called name, and so its name, by the looks of it, is name or source. So let's go back to our labels, and then we want to label this with a value in name, wherever we find name. Okay, so that's useful. There, name. Pressing N repeatedly scrolls through all the things beginning with N. Okay, and what kind of, we don't want anything like that. So we can check the font. Let's just apply, see what it looks like. Here we are. So yeah, that's a bit of an overhang. That should never have been in there, but you now have things with names on them. Hurrah! So you can put that over the OpenStreetMap if you so desire. It might take a little while to come out, and then you can there we are. So that's your OSM data with your stuff over the top, or you can have it over your aerial photograph. The line doesn't come out very clearly, so we could Change that style so it's something like this. Okay, that's much better. So you can see how that is, or if you want to set up some degree of transparency, there we are. Ta-da! Okay, right. I was going to go and do this in a different way, which was basically to add attributes into the field boundaries, the field digitizing, which is being done. As you can see, you can you? Let's take that off. You can nearly take or create this as a thing by essentially adding all of these fields together. We can always cookie cut out that bit, for example. I'll save that for another day. I mean, we can do it with that. It's not a major problem. And the cookie cutting has been done for the areas down here. I just want to check that one does. No, that one doesn't actually exist as a field boundary either. So I don't want to get to the stage of trying to subdivide fields just for a bespoke purpose. But anyway, this will provide you with a means to have this data as shapefiles. It's on Dropbox in that directory, so you should have it directly in your folder. Yeah, so it means you can pretty it up in whatever you want it to be. You should equally just be able to open up that project and it should load in all of the data files for you. That's it. Okay. Have fun.